Hello. Well, as you can see here, it's me, and I'm testing out my hardware. Now, so, a couple of days, I've been really into playing Saturn games again, and it's a very joyful experience. It brings me back to being when I was a kid. Well, not a kid, but a teen, a preteen, or whatever you want to call me, in 1994, and I got a Saturn, and I got Sega Rally Championship, and I thought, there's nothing much to this game, it's not like, but the nuances in the control, and to just shave seconds off your lap and having a nice light responsive control. Now, once you get used to the controls, it becomes an extension of your arms, and it's very fun to play. Now, I'm usually doing Dreamcast stuff, and a developer for Dreamcast homebrew, but I've been taking a little bit of time to have some fun, which for me is playing Saturn games. So I got a Pseudo Kai cartridge and a HDMI. Now, I'm just testing this. So, waiting on here for people to turn up. So the other thing is that Dreamcast homebrew is quite frustrating. Look at me. It's quite frustrating to get any sort of speed out of the Dreamcast unless you optimize it through the arse. And the major problem I have found is the sound hardware. It's so slow. It takes like 20% of anything. Yes. And so, for example, Dream Neo CD. Now, with the sound off, it's so fast, it looks like Neo Geo CD games on acid. I don't know if you've done it, but just hold the left trigger till it turns the sound effects off, and it's super fast. Super fast, like ridiculously fast. As soon as you engage any samples or conversions, it stalls the main CPU. And this is the same for Radquake. This is the same for almost every project on Dreamcast that uses sound. And don't even think about using MP3 or OGG or any of that sort of stuff, because it uses a lot of mathematics and calculations, and it just slows the whole thing down to nothing. And when I seen just lately a homebrew retail game using OGG music, and the whole thing's running at about 20 frames a second, you take that OGG music away and turn it into CDDA, and the thing would be running 60 frames a second. I mean, just saying to the devs out there, do not use a streaming format that uses calculations when you have CD music, which is no hit whatsoever to the Dreamcast. Convert all your projects to CD music. It's fine to do sound effects with waves or anything else, but as soon as you continuously stream, it hits the pipeline in the SH4 and the Dreamcast, and you're looking at dog turds. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at slow, stuttering dog. So there's no point looking, and for example, VVVVVDC, Gasaba, when it was using OGG music, it has to convert the OGG, do the conversion, calculate it, and then stream it. How do you think that that's ever going to work on a single core CPU, and then send it to the ACA, and then send it back, and then tell it when it's doing that? It's a complete nightmare and a mess. If you're going to do homebrew projects and games, use CDDA music. You have zero hit, go straight DMA, no worries whatsoever. If you're going to stream music, you're going to have to use a very optimized format. if you go and look at HiCube, as soon as the OG music hits in, the whole GPU slows down to nothing. I mean, there's the other problems we have for Dreamcast stuff is just really a lack of examples of 3D engines. Most of the 3D PC engines that do not work the way the PVR does, and it's hard to just come up with something from nothing because we're not all Rand Linden or Mr. Neo 240 or any of the other devs out there. I am a middle of the road C coder, and there is no engine but Simulant, which is coming along really well, and I hope to use it in the future. But for anybody that's starting out, there is no 3D pushing polygon engine that shows you anything of how to use the Dreamcast in Callistos. And then you've got SDL and OpenGL, which I'm trying to get going because it's easier for a new dev to think about. But even that's a tiny bit slower, because every time you add a layer, it's going to be slower. And forget SDL Mixer. If you're going to use SDL Mixer, you're talking 15-20% frame rate hit. Just using it for anything. So is SDL no good? No, it's great for using a cross-platform thing like that. Is there crap versions of it? Yes, the one included in Callistos is absolutely crap. It's a steaming pile of poo. So I have uploaded the updated version of Chewie's version, which has PVR DMA, which has saving memory copies with when you do streaming. It doesn't have any memory leaks. It's stable as a rock. You have a texture driver. You have a DMA driver. You can eliminate keyboard and mouse to the joystick. It's only a simple, like, 10-line thing to put in any PC port, and you've got DC controls and you've got all this sort of stuff. So why isn't that in Callistos right now? Well, I have no idea, other than there is a lot of devs who just think it's crap. But if you use that version, which is being used right now in the Titan engine and in Kasaba's port, and you'll see that it's not crap. It's almost a thin direct layer straight to the PVR hardware, but giving it more capability and an ease of function. So it shouldn't really be called SDL. It should be called Dreamcast Media Layer, because it's a lot more complex in the port than the one that is included in Kosh. Now, I'm rambling on about developer stuff. Hi to everyone out there that's going to watch this in the future. Let's talk about projects. Hexen. I got everything to work. All the controls work. The simple matter of the fact is I have to find a way of GD-ROM blocking, because anytime something loads, it's going to stop the CD8. Now, I overcome this problem in Radquake, but it took years. And I don't want it to take years. So the first alpha is not going to have any music. It'll have the sound effects, all controls, everything like that. And it's open source, so anyone can mess around with it and doing like that. Bureau's port, no source code for that, for the Hexen. And it was also built on a very early buggy version of Hexen. This is 2016 updated source. Some of the source code is only updated a couple of weeks ago. That's the version that I based the port on. So going forward, if the PC coder adds more features, we can easily add more features to it. I do plan to also port Heretic. So Hexen, Heretic. I may have to port Wolfenstein 3D again, because the port that's out there that I updated, I'm not particularly fond of it. The way it works, the way it's doing it. No, it's good, but I think I could do better if I started from brand new instead of trying to update it. Let's update some more projects. I do have a very good updated Genesis Eliminator. It's based on Genesis Plus. It's based on Gens for All. It's based on all of them. And it's just a combination, like a whole bunch of combination of things, but it's very fast and pretty compatible. Sound is heaps better than the official one. and that's a long way from coming out. People on my Patreon already have a version of it, but I don't want to release it because it's not ready, and I'm not going to do that just now. SNES for All. Well, I've released a beta of that. 60, 70, 80, 90 games are working better. You now have 44 kHz sound, not 16 down a telephone. A lot of the graphics glitches have been removed. I'm still working on that. It has underlying memory problems. You'll see it in the wiggly screen that I call it. Wiggly screen shake. That's because it's converting to DMA, but it's actually not 32-bit aligned. It's not memory aligned. So we'll a post on DC Talk where a few people have done lots of comparisons to play it and compare. So, but I would like to add the full motion video and polish to make it feel like a real Saturn version of Quake on Dreamcast. Menus, stuff like that, and little bits. I would like to make Saturn Rad Quake Gold, and that's coming in the future. That's a personal project because I love Saturn. The other projects I've got, Reminiscence Flashback. I do have the CDA music working, so it has the DOS graphics, the Amiga cutscenes and sound music, and it will have the Mega CD full stereo soundtrack looping in the background. That'll probably be the best port you can have of that. That's available. It's free. If I'm told to take it down, I'll take it down. After that, I actually have a new port of Another World to Dreamcast. I'm writing the sound effects and all the music for that. The version out that was ever out, I don't know, it was very beginning, was based on source code that didn't really work, had no music, had no saving. So I've got that to finish. And I've also got Coven of Ebony. That really needs a complete refresh because the base version of Radquake it was running on, the version now is a lot better than that was. So smoother, higher quality textures. The soundtrack already rocked. And so I want to make the third-person version a lot better the way it moves. So I'm looking into the CAM code for that in Quake C. And there's been a hold up of that because I basically have way too many things doing all the time at once. And only the last couple of days have I actually enjoyed myself in probably 3 years on a gaming machine, and that's the Saturn. Other than that, it's just always in a dev environment, opened up looking at C code, and it can drive you absolutely nuts. Okay, so I also have a bunch of my... I have that building and... Sorry, my stream seems to be very unstable. I do need better hardware, but this is what I've got right now, and I'm testing this right now. So I need better hardware. So if this is still going, I don't know, because my PC just crashed. Yep, it crashed. Okay, I have no idea. My whole computer has froze. This is what I'm talking about when I'm doing development and I'm doing work. You know, this is the type of stuff that I have a problem right now. It's completely crashed. Great support. A lot of the new equipment I have, Deluxe has helped me with that. The Patreons helped me keep my internet connection on. Hello, are we back now? Are we back? Are we back? Hello to the two people that are watching. Okay, it's crashed again. This is 1 and a bit rooms. That's what I live in. I don't live in a palace. I don't know if this crashed or not. Hello? I think it's crashed again. Yeah, dear. This is one of the reasons I didn't do coding today. It's a continuous pain in the butt. Well, in case it's still working, thank you for watching the live stream. I hope to see more people typing things in the comments in the future. I guess this is IAN Michael signing out. And I'll see you in a future video. Farewell. Hey, you! You've been... Well, I have no idea whether this is working still or not.